It's now time for Ask Zach. And this is a segment that I end every single podcast with people who support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. It's $1 a month. If you want to give me $1 a month, you can. Great. I really appreciate it. If you want to give me more than that? That would be even better. It pays my bills literally. I survived doing this. But $1 a month gives you access to submit questions to me. And I, with my eyeballs, look at every single question that is submitted on patreon.com. I only accept questions on Patreon through the Patreon DMs or through, you can comment on the posts. I leave posts saying, Ask Zach this week, comment below. Now, I will not guarantee, if you pay me money and submit a question, I will not guarantee to read it on the show. There's so many. I try to read a couple, the top ones every week, but I do look at all of them with my eyeballs, and I pick the top couple to read on the show. There are 10 this week. I believe there's 10. I hope it's 10. It might be 9. I'm bad at math. I counted them up. Probably 10. But we have great questions for today. I want to start with Dan. Dan and Ben both wrote in about the same topic. And so Dan's question is long and rambly. No offense to you, Dan. Love you. But I'm going to read it all, and then I'm going to read Ben's. So Dan says, "Hey, Zach, I love the show. I'm a huge fan of how you raise awareness and share your history dealing with your brother's death. Thank you so much, Dan. As you know, that's the most important thing to me and the most important thing in this podcast." He says, now to football. I think a big controversy coming out of week 4 is about the Patriots defensive back Jonathan Jones hit on Josh Allen. Dude, you did more research about this than I did. Well done. He says, I didn't know who hit him. I just saw it, number 31. Dan continues, he said, "Full disclosure, I'm a Patriots fan, and perhaps consequently, I have a hometown view of the play. I think Josh Allen, who is known to run, was trying to pick up a first down conversion in a 3-point game, and instead of giving himself up, chose to try and fight through a tackle and fall for a first down. Jones, number 31, the guy who hit him, saw an opportunity to pop a quarterback and took it. I think he tried to lead with the shoulder, but unfortunately, it was a quick bang-bang play, and Jones hit Josh Allen with his helmet. The ref threw the flag. Good call. I agree. It was a good call. It was helmet to helmet." Now, he continues with more. So there's 2 more parts of the question. I'm going to read one more part. He says, "Well, I take exception with the whining, the whining that Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, did in the post-game interview, as well as Micah Hyde saying that if the Bills hit Brady like that, then they would have been kicked out. Personally, I don't buy that. I think that when a quarterback makes himself a runner and does not give himself up, then the refs don't afford quarterbacks the same latitude as when they slide or are in the pocket looking to pass." He said, I did read the whole question, by the way, Dan. Dan says at the end, "She made it this far. Thanks for taking the time to read this novel, Dan." Dan, thanks for the question. Now, Ben wrote in a very similar question. He said, "What do you think of the hit on Josh Allen by Jonathan Jones?" Well, you both know his name. "During the Bills versus Patriots game, do you think Jones should have been ejected? And what do you think would have happened if Tom Brady was hit the same way? I'm also curious of your opinion on the game." First, opinion of the game. The Bills are better than... I thought the Bills were good. I gave them credit. Even better than I thought. Good job, Bills. Really impressed with them. So, on this hit, so in case you don't know, I don't know how you don't know, but it's possible you don't, the Bills starting quarterback Josh Allen was hit helmet to helmet in the beginning of the 4th quarter on Sunday. He got a concussion. He was out for the rest of the game. And it was Bills fans were furious because they lost their starting quarterback at the end of a close football game against the Patriots. I get their frustration and Bills fans' anger. It all makes sense to me. Now, I don't want to be rude. It's going to come across as rude to Bills fans. I mean, no offense, guys. But it looks to me like Bills fans are just looking for a reason for this to be unfair. I get it. The Patriots have a history of cheating, and there's all this stuff, and it's unfair. By the way, I think the NFL actually hates the Patriots because they don't want them. They succeed in spite of the NFL not liking them. I think what happened was unfortunate conduct. I'm not a Bills fan. I'm not a Patriots fan. And I know there's a really intense rivalry between the two teams. And so from an outsider's perspective, from an outside looking in point of view, I just think it was unfortunate. Like, Josh Allen's trying to get more yards. He's falling forward. Number 31, tried to lay a hit on the quarterback. It did look like he was trying to use his shoulder. His helmet hit him. And by the way, the hit was flagged because it's an illegal hit. You cannot hit a quarterback helmet to helmet when they're running. You can't hit anybody helmet to helmet when they're running. The hit got flagged. Now, unfortunately for the Bills, the flag was not kept because there was also a holding penalty on the play. The 2 penalties, one on the Bills, one on the Patriots, they offset. nothing really happened from the hit. And I understand that Bills fans are frustrated because they lost their quarterback, but I don't think anything unfair happened here. It was flagged. It was dealt with. And let's be very honest about what happened. Josh Allen was running. What Micah Hyde said, saying that, well, if we'd hit Tom Brady that way, the guy would have got ejected. Well, first of all, Tom Brady would never, ever let himself get hit like that. Tom Brady doesn't lower his shoulder. Tom Brady doesn't run. Tom Brady doesn't put himself in a situation where he gets hit as much as Josh Allen. Josh Allen has not mastered the Bills' offense. He takes a lot of hits because his style of play, he runs around. And because he hasn't mastered the offense, he doesn't know where all his outlets are. He doesn't get the ball out very quickly. He's very slow to process. His anticipation is terrible. Because of the way Josh Allen plays, his style and his mental ability reading a defense, it causes him to get hit a lot more frequently than other quarterbacks. The hit is on Josh Allen. He ran, he lowered his shoulder, he got leveled. And a dirty hit, I don't think it was intentionally dirty, but you can't lower your helmet. That's a flag. It was flagged. I don't know what else Bills fans want. Everything was fair in that situation. It's just unfortunate. And it's very okay to be sad and frustrated that your quarterback got knocked out. And guess what? I think you play the Patriots again this year. And so if the Bills want revenge on the Patriots, do it again. This time, have your quarterback slide, and maybe they'll win. Because I think it was 3rd and long. If Josh Allen slides right there, it's like 4th and 1. He slides, it's 4th and 1, go for it on 4th and 1. There are many ways Josh Allen's injury could have been avoided, and could have been avoided by Josh Allen not lowering his helmet and not running and not playing the style of play he plays. Now, the next question is from Supa McNasty. And I am sure that's his real name. Supa McNasty, maybe her real name. Maybe it's a her. Oh, you never know. I think I have female viewers. I met one this weekend. They say, hey, Zach, recently found your channel and thought you had some interesting perspectives. Anyway, decided to support you through Patreon. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot to me. It pays my bills. I'm so grateful you supported me on Patreon. And this, as my first question, he says, do you think Mahomes is worth the hype or still has something to prove through a championship or more big games? He says, again, love your content and good luck in the future. So Supa McNasty, I love that name. It's so awesome. Man, I don't think Mahomes has anything to prove. He's won an NFL MVP. He plays great in big moments. And he's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen I've never seen anybody like Patrick Mahomes. Big moments also don't frighten Patrick Mahomes. I talked about Kirk Cousins earlier in the podcast, how he shrinks in big moments. Patrick Mahomes does nothing of the sort. He's totally calm and totally very just comfortable in the moment. Nothing phases him. And I think that he's mastered his role. Patrick Mahomes is really, really good at what he does. And probably the best ever at his job. Very likely, literally. If maybe not the best at mastering defenses, the most physically talented of all time. And here's the thing that is starting to kind of make me crazy. There's comeback wins for Patrick Mahomes. There is crazy good throws. But there's also really good decision-making repeatedly from Patrick Mahomes. Everybody wants to compare Patrick Mahomes to Brett Favre. That does Patrick Mahomes a disservice. Brett Favre was lazy. Brett Favre didn't do the work. He was a gunslinger who relied on his arm and did not do the preparation necessary to become an elite. Look, he's an elite quarterback. But Brett Favre would not succeed now as well as he did in the 90s. I watched a video on YouTube the other day. It was the 90s quarterback competition. Troy Aikman, Vinny Testaverde, Vinny looked like a mob boss, Brett Favre, all these guys. They had horrible mechanics. They had bad footwork. Quarterback ability as a whole, quarterback play in general, has been elevated so much over the last 20 years as guys have grown up all through high school training and practicing and understanding out. The understanding of the quarterback position has never been better, and quarterback play has never been better. Even with the new rules, it's still technically far more sound than it's ever been before. Brett Favre would not last in today's NFL. He wouldn't make it. He doesn't do the preparation he needed to. He got out right at the perfect time when he just was starting to peter out. He got away with a lot because there's a famous story where Brett Favre didn't understand a defense. Sorry to go on a long tangent. My point is this. Don't just talk about Patrick Mahomes' arm strength. You need to understand the preparation and decision-making he has is incredible. He does the work. I'm never going to do a film analysis of Patrick Mahomes because it's boring. Success, when you're that good, I find it far more intriguing to watch Joe Flacco, who I don't actually know if he's any good, because I know Patrick's good. Patrick Mahomes, I've never really talked about him because he's so good it's not interesting. It's like Alabama football. It's like they're just so dominant. Patrick Mahomes is quite possibly the best quarterback I have ever seen. Decision-making, arm talent, calm in the moment in big-time moments like on Sunday against the Lions down in the fourth quarter. Patrick's unbelievable. And so I'm tired of the Brett Favre comparison that does Patrick Mahomes a disservice. No, he has nothing to prove and is incredible. Wow, I didn't mean to. I just get into it. I just love this, man. I just get so lost in the moment and what I'm talking about. Devonator wrote in and said this. He said, "Hi, Zach. So I play football for my high school." He says he's a lineman. "And my team is not as united as we need to be. I believe we lack a lot of leadership from players, so I ask you, what are some of the most important characteristics of a leader? How does a player unite so many different personalities? Thank you. P.S. Love your show." Devonator. The number one thing when I think of leadership is that you have to be yourself. You must be yourself. You can do all the right stuff. You can say all the right things. Your actions can all be what leaders, quote, should do. But if it's not authentic and it's not real and it's not really who you are, people can pick up on that and it leaks out of you. And they might not know why you trying to be leader makes them uncomfortable, but it does. And I think a good leader has to earn the right to speak up. Good leaders need to speak up when it's necessary, but you can't just speak up. You have to earn the right to do that with your actions, and that has to happen on an individual level. When I played college football, we had a gigantic team, 112 guys. 3 days into fall training camp with, by the way, I think we had 58 new freshmen. By day 3, I knew everybody's name and I knew where they were from. I'd had a conversation with every single person on the team. I really was proud of the leadership and the work I did at my college. That is so important. You have to connect with people on an individual level. That way, when you talk, they know who you are. They know where you're coming from. You have earned the right in their eyes, likely, to speak to them and to speak up in a big moment. When everyone's tired, they just did conditioning, now it's time to practice, and you're like frustrated, whatever it is. If you're going to speak up at a big moment, you have to earn the right to do that. And then another thing good leaders do is I call this tending to the flock, like a shepherd, the way a shepherd cares for all their sheep, checking with every single one, clipping, whatever. I've actually never been a shepherd. My image of a shepherd is a guy who feeds all the sheep, clips their toenails, makes sure they're clean, he just cares for all of them. You got to care for the people around you. And not just the players. If you're a player on the team, talk to your coaches. How's your coach doing? How's this? Check in with people. How is blank? Whatever they're struggling with, whether it's a test or a girlfriend or, whatever battle in your life, in their life they're struggling with or fighting on right now, check in with them. Hey, man, how's this thing? How's that thing? Check in with people. But again, you have to actually care. You have to actually care. You can't pretend to care about people. It doesn't work. But if you actually care about people, I think you can do tremendous, tremendous things as a leader, especially on a football team. Another thing great leaders do, in my opinion, is they own their flaws and they own their mistakes. Tom Brady, all good leaders in the NFL do this. All good leaders in every aspect of life are willing to admit, hey, I was wrong about this. I was wrong about that. Hey, man, I screwed up and I'm going to own that. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. If you don't hold yourself to a high standard, then how can the people around you? And how can it go both ways? If you don't hold yourself to a high standard, how can you correct Cameron when he runs a bad route? How can you help Bryson when he could catch? I'm naming teammates of mine from high school. I love them, by the way. They're great guys. How can you help them? How can you call them out? You can't. If I don't ever own that I'm screwed up and broken, I can't ever help and call other guys when I need more from them. The last part I want to talk about is I stole it from the wisest coach I've ever met. I met a guy named George Crace, who was just a wonderful human. He's a legend in the Northwest, coaching high school football. He was very, very kind to me. He said that good leaders have 4 characteristics. He said good leaders have trust. You trust them, the people around them. You trust a good leader. Good leaders offer stability. They are stable. You can rely on them. So trust and stability. The third thing is care. Good leaders genuinely have to care about the people. They have to. They must genuinely care about the people around them. And the fourth thing is that good leaders offer hope. This one spoke to me so much because a good leader offers hope for the future, that it's all going to work out and you're going to make it. They encourage, they're positive. Good leaders offer the people around them hope. I hope you appreciated that answer. I really, I took my time with that one. I thought about it deeply. And I think I gave a quality answer that I'm proud of that answer. I think it's good. Actually, there's one more thing I want to add in. You got to care for yourself too. I just talked a lot about caring for other people and how that's good leader. You can't care for other people unless you care for yourself. You got to go to bed at night. You got to get good rest. You got to journal your feelings. I know that seems silly, but if you don't journal and figure out how you feel about stuff, you're never going to be an effective leader. So those are all the things I think make up an effective leader. Actually, I'll read them again. I have them written down. All the things that make up an effective leader to me are you got to be yourself. You can't pretend. You have to actually care about the people around you. You got to own your mistakes when you screw up. You got to be reliable. You got to earn the right on an individual level to talk to people, connect with every little person individually, know their life, know where they're from, know their story. And then you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't help other people. One thing that I always think of is I was on a plane a couple times this weekend. I flew to Salt Lake and back. So that's 4 total flights because I had connections both times. Connection in Denver on the way down, connection Phoenix on the way back. And when they tell you about plane safety, they talk about how when the mask comes down, like the plane's going down, you're going to crash, the mask falls down. And they say, put it on the person next to you. Oh, sorry. They say this. They say, make sure when the mask comes down, if you have a kid next to you, put the mask on yourself first because you can't help the person next to you unless you can breathe. So you got to take care of yourself. Then you can put the mask on you can help someone else get their mask on, right? I hope that makes sense. But the point is you can't be an effective leader unless you're in a good spot and have done the work to take care of yourself first. The next question is from Michael. It's a good one. It's about Marcus Mariota. Michael says, well, Zach, if you've seen my other posts, you know I'm a Marcus Mariota fan. That I thought your criticism was a bit harsh last time you talked about him. He showed massive improvement yesterday, especially in regards to holding onto the ball too long. No sacks despite free rushers multiple times. I acknowledge that was good. Said with Taylor Lewan coming back next week, do you think the Titans will make an even bigger statement against the Bills? And do you see Marcus Mariota taking enough of a step forward to lock in a long-term deal? He says, even though you've been hating on my Titans, love the show. Keep up the good work, Michael. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate you. Marcus Mariota. There's always hope. There's always hope Marcus Mariota gets better. I don't want to say there's no hope. And I don't hate Marcus Mariota. I don't. I think he's subpar. And really what I have to do for Michael and for people who, a lot of people hate my my video about Marcus Mariota, I got to make a film analysis video because when I show them examples of what I'm talking about, it makes it a lot easier to hear the message. They can't deny. If you show them, and it's not just your opinion, but you show them the plays, they go, oh, I can't deny that's a bad throw and that's a bad decision and this is this. Like if you just give them examples in their face, no one fights back and works. They go, oh, you're right, crap. And I don't want that's discouraging too. Marcus Mariota is a very, very kind, sweet human being. I met him once at a camp. I'm from Oregon. I went to a lot of camps in the Oregon Northwest area. I can like him as a person. He was nice to me when I met him. And remove my emotion from that experience, which is very cool to me when I was a kid. And still acknowledge I think he's an average quarterback in the NFL. There's some really good moments and there's some really bad moments. And it's just very subpar. And I don't think I was too hard on him when I said, often when I watch Marcus Mariota, it's not good enough. That's what I said, and I stand by that. Now, an even bigger concern than Marcus Mariota's play is he's average, not good enough, I don't think. He's also very quiet. He's not a vocal leader. I did a whole opening segment today on Strong Opinion Sports about leadership and how quiet, lead by example guy is not enough for me anymore. Marcus Mariota is not enough of a leader to me. He doesn't speak up. He doesn't challenge his teammates. He doesn't encourage people. He's not loud. I don't hear him, and I don't see him as a leader. Like, I don't see him actively high-fiving people. I don't see, with my eyeballs, I don't see leadership when I watch him. He's alone by himself being quiet. And when I listen to him, I don't hear leadership from Marcus Mariota. Again, not encouraging others, not clapping, not high-fiving, not lifting up the people around him. In my opinion, the Tennessee Titans need to draft Jake Fromm, the quarterback from Georgia. Pull the trigger. Draft Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm would transform the Tennessee Titans' entire franchise. He's a galvanizing leader. People fight for him. He's got tremendous presence. I think Jake Fromm would be the best thing that's ever happened to the Tennessee Titans. I would draft him in a heartbeat, especially because guess what? He's going to fall. He'll be like the 17th overall pick or maybe even a second-round pick like Derek Carr was. But I very strongly believe in Jake Fromm because of who he is. The same reason I believed in Gardner Minshew is the reason I believe in Jake Fromm. I'm going to lean into that. Jake Fromm is not the most talented quarterback, but he's a galvanizing leader who wins games and plays good in big moments. And that's what you want from a quarterback. And that's exactly what we haven't seen from Marcus Mariota, the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. Michael, thank you for your question. I hope, I know that's not what you want to hear probably, but all I can do is be honest. I appreciate you subscribing to me on Patreon and supporting me. That means a lot to me. And I hope there's no hard feelings. I'm so grateful you watch my show. Jonas wrote in. Jonas says, "Sup, Zach." Sup, Jonas. Which college team has the best looking uniforms in your opinion? And which college football stadium would you most want to visit? First of all, Oklahoma, in my opinion, has the best uniforms in college football. I know that's a very weird answer because they're boring and simple. And guess what I like with fashion? I like boring and I like simple. I wear the same shirt for every broadcast. Guess what happened to me on Saturday? I was broadcasting a game in Salt Lake City, and a Fox producer said, "Not only do I know your show, I like you, Zach, I like your show. I think it's so funny you're wearing your silly blue shirt you wear on your podcast." And he said, "You're exactly yourself. Keep being yourself." This is who I am. I wear my dumb shirt. I have two of them. I wear the same shirt every single episode. So my girlfriend even asked me, "Where's the green shirt?" I'm like, the green shirt. I have it if I need it in case both blue shirts are dirty. They're not. I'm a simple man. I like the simple, is it red, scarlet? Is it red? Whatever color you would call Oklahoma's colors. It looks great on Jalen Hurts. I like the Jordan symbol. It's very nice. It's slick. But I like simple stuff. And there's a lot of great uniforms like that in college football. Just the one that pops into my mind right now is Oklahoma. You know what I don't like is North Carolina. Like UNC has that thing on the side of their pants. It's like weird. It looks like a quilt. I'm like, that's weird to me. I don't like it. And the busier you are, the less I like it. I don't like really busy stuff. I think Maryland's uniforms are interesting. Not a fan. Now, hey, actually, while you ask me this, two really cool uniforms to me are the Ohio State uniforms from years ago. Like they were like alternate. They were like red. They're this cool, richer red, like not scarlet, and they were like a richer, darker, like matte gray with a scarlet red. It was really cool. It was like 2012, I think, when I saw it the first time. It's this alternate uniform they have. It's just sick. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then the other uniforms I really like, and I know Oregon's got really unique uniforms. I don't always like them. The one I thought was really cool is in the Orange Bowl and the Rose Bowl one time. They wore green tops, white jerseys, and then like orange socks, like looking like a duck, like orange socks and cleats to look like Donald Duck. I was like, that is the coolest. Like the Oregon Ducks wore orange and got away with it. What the heck? You can only wear that uniform once or twice ever, but when they did, it was so dang cool. Now, which stadium would I want to visit? There's one that sticks out to me. There's two games I really want to go to Alabama, Auburn someday. I think it'd be awesome. But the stadium I most want to go to is actually Georgia. This started when I watched Georgia Notre Dame the other day, and Georgia had 107,000 people in the crowd, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. It just looks so cool, and the lights were flashing red, and I was like, oh my, this atmosphere is amazing. And college football, like I want to broadcast someday, and I would really love to do college football games because there's a different atmosphere and excitement with the student section and the alcohol, and everyone's just insanely into it. College football is really fun. So going to a Georgia game, I think it's Sanford Stadium, going to that stadium and a big rival like an LSU Georgia game or an Alabama Georgia game in Athens, Georgia. That to me, and maybe I could broadcast it, which would be even cooler. That experience sounds incredible, and I'm all in on that. That'd be awesome. Okay, Randy wrote in. Randy says, hey, Zach, I'm looking to start a YouTube channel in a similar style as yours, but discussing combat sports, MMA, boxing, etc. What equipment do you use now, and what do you use when you first started? Thank you for answering. Huge fan. You should come to the Northeast and give the scene some rationality. Too many is a word I've never heard. I think I know what it means though. Ignoramus is like Mike Francesa have a platform. Yeah, Mike Francesa needs to retire. I would love to be Mike Francesa. I would love to trade. He can do the show in the basement, and I'll be the local guy in New York. That's not true. I have a way better gig than him. I work for myself and don't have to. Never mind. I have a better gig than Mike Francesa. Yeah, man, Randy. I think first of all, you got to be yourself. You got to make content. You know, I think a lot of people in the sports content world, especially on TV, actually, I've met him. I've seen him in person. I've been in production meetings with ESPN. People don't realize that. I've operated camera for all kinds of great companies, and some yeah. And a lot of people are pretending to be something they're not on camera, and it's awful. It just doesn't work. I think people need to lean more heavily into what they're passionate about. I'm passionate about the quarterback position. I'm passionate about football. I talk about football a lot. And then the other thing I'm passionate about is storytelling and stories. So when I see great stories in sports, I love it. Whether it's basketball, football, rugby, tennis. I love great stories that move you in the soul. And so I've leaned into what I'm really passionate about and try to have a career doing what I'm passionate about, which are football and storytelling. So I encourage you to lean into the things you love and are really, really passionate about. Now, I don't care about equipment. I'm actually using all the same equipment I started with. Same computer, same cameras, same microphone. Nothing has changed since day one that I started this podcast. I have very mundane, very average equipment. The equipment doesn't matter for the most part. There's one piece of equipment that matters more than any other piece of equipment. There's only one thing that I could not do this show the same way without. The microphone. It's like a $300 microphone. This is it's a Rode Procaster. I'm very proud of it. You need good audio. The screen looks fine, right? I don't care. I wear the same dumb shirt. I'm in front of a stupid wall, and I don't care how the show looks. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you're saying and the content you're putting out and the words you're speaking and the passion you have with the words you're saying. Like who you are has to come through. Passion always comes through the screen or the headphones. But if it's done with a poor microphone, it's all irrelevant. So many podcasts have bad microphones. And the minute you hear scratchy, bad noise, you turn it off. Because weird sounds, you hate it. People hate, I don't watch videos with bad audio. Put up with a fuzzy fight on YouTube because it's interesting. But the minute the audio is hard to listen to or hurts your ears, you tune it out. Audio is the most important thing when you're making a YouTube channel. Audio. Video is very overrated. I'm a guy talking on a screen. Would you care if I had a different color shirt on? Would you care if the wall behind me was red instead of grayish purple? No. It's about what I'm saying. That's the important part. What I'm saying and the way I'm saying it is the most important thing when you make content, in my opinion. So, and then the last thing I want to say, Randy, if you want to start a YouTube channel, do it. Like, actually do it. You know how many times I've had people say, Zach, I'm going to start blank podcast, YouTube channel, blog, whatever it is. And they don't do it. They say they're going to do it and they never start. Or they start and it's hard and they don't actually. Like, if you actually want to do it, you'll continue. I did Strong Opinion Sports for a year before anybody really watched. I got like 12 viewers for a long time. And I did the show for free for 2 years because I love it. That's how I know I have the best job in the world. I love my job so much. I did it for free because it's my hobby that I love and am passionate about. That's how I know I have the greatest job in the world, is I love it so much I did it for free. Now I get paid to do it. That's incredible. It's amazing. But if you got to make sure, is it really what you want to do? Because if you really want to do it, it won't matter that no one's watching. It won't matter that you're bad at it. It won't matter that people make fun of you. It won't matter this. All the outside bullcrap noise will not matter because it's truly what you love to do. So if you really want to do a YouTube channel, Randy, do it and follow through. Don't just say you're going to do it. Don't just buy the equipment and let it sit on a shelf. And don't just make a couple episodes and give up. If you really want to do it, commit to it and do it for like 3 years before you give up. Because I'm so many times that people come up to saying, I'm going to start it. And they do 2 episodes and give up because it's hard and no one watched. Yeah, it's hard. And no one watched for a year and a half of me making content. Like, finally got like 1,000. That was cool. I'm at 100,000 now. That's awesome. I really have people watching now. That's cool. But the first year was No one watched. And I didn't do it because people watched. I do it because I loved it and I believed in it. So I hope, Randy, I hope that advice helps. Jacob says, the Lions have looked good. And he goes, gasp. So, the Lions look good. I'm performing for him. So, do you think this will last? And if so, what is the reason for the Lions' success? Very, very obvious to me is that the Lions have a new attitude. They're fighting this year, fighting harder than I've ever seen. When they're pushed and challenged, they punch back. And that's what a football team needs to do. I know it's silly and cliche to talk about, emotion, but football is so much about emotion. And it looks like to me the Lions have bought into their head coach, Matt Patricia. They believe in him. They fight hard for him. And they have hope. And when you're challenged, the question is, do you fight or do you keel over and give up? And the Lions have chosen to fight this year, which I haven't seen in years. It's a different culture than I've ever seen with the Lions. Times are changing. We have to accept times are changing for the Lions. They've elevated themselves. They bought into their head coach. And it's a team that wants to win and seems like they're willing to do the work to win. So the losing culture of the Detroit Lions is no more. They are changing things, and it's just a fact to me. It's not about the wins and losses, although the wins and losses are there. They do reflect this. They're 2-1-1. But the Lions are putting up a fight more than I've ever seen, and that dog will hunt. That works. And if they keep fighting, they're going to have success. I believe in the Lions, and I think they really are changing things. Okay, Alon wrote in. Alon is the last question. By the way, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I tried to ask him. He didn't reply. It's an unsolved mystery. Is it Alon? Elon? It's A-L-O-N. Alon? Alon? Alan? Alon? I don't know. Maybe he likes it that way. Maybe it's a made-up name. That would make sense. But I do know this guy has been a long, long time supporter of Strong Opinion Sports. And it means a lot to me. It's very, very special to me, and I'm very grateful for that. He writes in and says, Zach, the 49ers are the only undefeated team in the NFC. What do you project their record to be? Week by week with 10 seconds of explanation. That's what he wants, is an explanation of each game and why I think they'll win or lose. Also, congrats on finally reaching 100K subs. I'm assuming that when this comes out in a few days, you'll have 100K. He also says, so that's one part of the question. It's hard to tell with the 49ers. I think it all depends on their quarterback. And there's only, they've only played 3 games, which I think is a disservice to the 49ers, because the 49ers had a bye week early in the year while they were playing well. They didn't need a bye week. They're fine. Having the early bye week, I think, is a giant disadvantage. So that's a struggle for the 49ers. And they've only played 3 games, and they've played teams that are not that impressive. They beat the Steelers, the Buccaneers, and Buccaneers when Jameis Winston was playing badly, and they beat the Bengals. So I love the roster for the 49ers, but I'm not sold at all that they're going to win and continue winning. I love their head coach, Kyle Shanahan. I love their general manager, John Lynch. I think that the 49ers have all the pieces they need, except for the quarterback. I don't know if the quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, is the guy or not. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. Time will tell. So I ask you, before I go through the entire season and repick who I think is going to win every 49ers game, give me 2 more weeks. I want to see 2 more games to really build a understanding of Jimmy Garoppolo. They play the Browns and the Rams next. 2 good football teams. 2 capable football teams. Give me 2 more weeks to see Jimmy Garoppolo against better teams, to get a better feel of the 49ers roster. And then I'll give you a more informed answer that you really want. Because you want an informed answer when I tell you, do I believe in the 49ers or not? Give me 2 weeks, Alon, and I will give you an in-depth topic. I'll do it on the show. It will not be an Ask Zach topic. It'll be a full-on topic, maybe a film analysis about Jimmy Garoppolo. It's coming. I will give it to you. Give me 2 more weeks, though, to get more information and learn more about this football team that I am very fascinated about. So, Alon, hold your horses. That video will come. Alon asked another question, though, I think is really interesting and important. Because no one's ever asked me this question before, but it is something I feel weird about. He says, what happened to the 49ers Giants bet last year? Also, did you make a bragging rights bet on the 49ers record? If I win, he says, do you want to make... No. Oh, no. So he says... I didn't read the whole question. So he says, what happened to the Giants 49ers bet last year? And then says, do you want to make a 49ers bet for this year? Said, if you win... He says, if I win. So if Alon wins, He wants me to bring back, oh my goodness. If I win, you get to be proud of yourself. And you can just say, so by the way, Elon, from this episode, I brought back, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I brought it back today because it felt wrong without that on the show. So we don't need to make a bet. It's there. He did. He says it's Alon. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm learning. This probably sounds like the most mess of a podcast. The way this has ended, you're like, what in the hell is I can't believe I didn't read this whole question. Alon says it's not English. It's Alon. Quick on sound. If you have trouble, you can say alone. 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 Oh my gosh. Alon. Alone. His name is Alone. Or Alon. But I think it's Alone. What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ahlan? Ahlan? Is that how you say it? I don't know. But I'm going to figure out your name because it matters a lot to me. Okay, wow. What the heck is going on? Giant tangent. Here's what happened last year. I made a bet with a Giants fan and said if the Giants have a better record than the 49ers, I would buy that Giants fan. His name was James, a Saquon Barkley jersey. I did it all in good fun. I thought it'd be a cool segment because I was like, man, if I can't really lose here. If I have to buy the guy a jersey, that's awesome because it's a cool segment. That'd be fun. And I think I'll win. I think it was a bet worth a very easy bet. I thought the 49ers were way better than the Giants. And the Giants actually ended up with a better record than the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers quarterback, got hurt. And I think James felt weird in victory. Like he didn't really earn it. Like Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. The Giants had a terrible record anyway. They were 5-11. So it's not like the Giants were way better than the 49ers. And so I think he felt like he won by default. And I did reach out to him. I tried to give him a jersey. And he never got back to me. So I've reached out a couple times. James, if you're out there listening, I think James Chanel is his name. I think it's his name. I think it's who it is. I want to buy you a jersey. I feel weird about it that I made this bet with you, and then you bailed on the bet. And he did say he never to buy me a jersey because of the Jimmy Garoppolo injury. He said that on a comment unprompted. But I think it'd be a cooler segment if I got to finish the story. Say, look, I bought you a jersey. I made this bet with you last year. And I don't want to bail on the bet. I think it's a good segment, actually. I'll spend $100 on a jersey and get it for you for a cool segment. That's fun to me. That sounds cool. So I feel kind of weird about the whole situation. I have tried to get him a jersey. James, if you're out there listening, contact me. Hit me up. I want to buy you a jersey. I don't know how to get in touch with you and really make it clear that, I don't know how to verify that you're who you are, but I think there's a DM service on YouTube. Send me your name. Send me, I want to get you if it's possible, I want to get you a jersey because I thought that segment was weird. It never got a follow-up. Okay, guys, that's all I have. That's probably about 10 minutes too long in the podcast. I really appreciate you guys. I'm so grateful for you guys watching and following. Let me look if we're at 100,000 yet because we were, really close. I'm going to refresh it, and we are at 100,000 subscribers. My gosh. So I just found out live on I guess not live, but while I recorded, I just found out. Amazing, man. That's so cool. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and listening. I really appreciate you guys. This one's drug on a little bit at the end. I'm sorry. I'm so very grateful for your support. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bam, we are done. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It is my favorite thing in the entire world. And you may not know, my dream when I graduate college eventually is to do this show as my full-time job. Now, I also want to be very upfront and honest about my plan and what's going on. I recently monetized my YouTube channel. What that means is that some of my videos make money through ad revenue. Now, it's fewer than you think. A lot of my videos get claimed. But in the past, I've received donations through the form of PayPal and Patreon.com. PayPal.me/Zach Schaumler, Patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. So because I'm making ad revenue, it felt weird to just get donations. I wanted to give something back to the people who support me on Patreon. So now there's a reward. If you support me on Patreon, you can submit questions at the dollar level or above. You just need to give $1 a month. If you do that, you can submit questions to a pool of questions where I look at. I'll read all the questions on Patreon, and I pick the top couple every episode and read them and answer them on a segment called Ask Zach. Pick the top couple questions and answer them at the end of every single episode. Now, that's for people who want to support me with money. If you have no money to give, I totally understand. I've actually never supported anybody on Patreon. I feel kind of weird about that. I'm a broke college kid myself. I totally understand. But if you believe in me and if you believe in my dream and still want to help me, one thing you can do is help me grow by telling your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow by telling your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Guys, thank you so much. I know that was a long spiel. I really appreciate it, and hope you have a great day.